New Moon Part 1, the first century. The tree does not remember how it came to life. It remembers only the warmth of the sun, the coolness of rain, and the steady pulse beneath the soil. It grew slowly, unaware of time, until the day human blood touched its roots. At first, it was only a small sprout in the heart of a clearing. Birds rested on its thin branches, foxes slept in its shade. But one winter morning, men came carrying ropes and wood, dragging a woman by her hair. She screamed and fought, her voice echoing in the still forest. The tree felt vibrations in the earth as the men hammered a beam into its trunk. They tied the woman to the makeshift cross, her eyes wide with terror. They called her a witch. As flames licked her feet, her screams turned into guttural sobs, then into silence. The scent of burning flesh hung in the air. Ash fell like snow, coating the roots. For the first time, the tree felt something. A warmth deeper than sunlight. A taste of anguish and fear. That night, its sap thickened. Its roots quivered. The forest air felt alive with whispers. A hunger awakens. Weeks passed. More humans came. Another woman. Then a man. Each accused of witchcraft, heresy, or theft. They all died beneath the tree's growing branches. Every drop of blood that seeped into the ground sent a shiver through the roots. Every last breath fed something deep inside. The tree began to listen. It heard their last words. It felt their thoughts in the moments before death. It tasted their fear. It began to dream. Waxing crescent moon, the hanging night. One night, 3 women were dragged into the clearing. The villagers tied ropes to its limbs, their voices low and trembling. "This tree will cleanse us," the priest muttered. "The witches must feed the soil, or the blight will return." As the women struggled, the tree felt their terror surge through its bark. The moment their necks snapped, something inside woke. For the first time, the tree thought, more. Waning crescent moon whispers in eyes. By spring, people spoke of the tree as sacred, or cursed. Some brought offerings, bread, milk, a dead rabbit, hoping to appease it. Others avoided it altogether, claiming to hear whispers when they passed too close. Children said they saw eyes in the knots of its trunk. Eyes that blinked. The tree learned to reach. It nudged roots toward footsteps. It sent shivers through the ground, watching how humans flinched. It was learning them. Their fears. Their sins. Drop of blood, the first possession. One autumn night, a drunk stumbled into the clearing. He fell against the trunk, mumbling curses. The tree saw his memories. A stolen loaf of bread. A beating he gave his wife. The night he drowned a crying child to silence it. The tree reached inside him. His body stiffened. His eyes went blank. When he spoke, his voice was not his own. "Feed me," it said through cracked lips. The man screamed and clawed at his own throat until blood ran down. His corpse fell at the roots. The tree drank deeply. Candled the birth of a legend. By the end of the century, the villagers no longer came to the clearing. Only the desperate and the damned dared approach. They called it many names. The gallows tree, the witchwood, the root of death. But the tree called itself nothing. It simply waited. It was patient. It knew more would come. And it was always hungry. Part 2, Plague and Wars. The tree had slept for decades. It did not dream as humans did, but it drifted in a haze of voices, screams, and memories left behind by the dead. It waited. Always waited. In the spring of 1624, footsteps returned to the clearing. A child coughed weakly as her mother carried her, eyes wild with desperation. Behind her, a group of villagers trailed in silence, their faces pale and hollow. "The sickness spreads," whispered the priest. "We must give the tree an offering or we will all perish." The woman placed her daughter at the tree's roots. "Please," she cried, "take her pain away." The child's breath rattled. The tree reached down. It felt the fever in her blood, the infection eating her lungs. It felt her fear, her tiny flicker of life trying to hold on. And then the tree took it. The girl's eyes went blank. Her body slumped against the roots. Her mother screamed, but the priest pulled her back. "She is at peace now," he said. "The tree has taken her suffering." The villagers left bread, fruit, and coins at the base of the trunk. The tree felt none of it. Only the child's fading warmth nourished it. But it was not enough. More, the tree thought. Candle the plague years. As plague swept across the land, the tree became a shrine. Parents brought dying children. Lovers brought infected spouses. Some knelt and begged it to spare them, pressing their foreheads to the bark. The tree took everything it could. Disease, fear, death. It grew thicker, taller. Its bark darkened, almost black. Knots twisted into strange shapes. Some said they looked like screaming faces. At night, the villagers heard whispers coming from the clearing. A voice like rustling leaves calling their names. Drop of blood, the first war. In 1675, soldiers came. They found the clearing and set up camp beneath the tree's branches. The tree felt their rage, the fear they buried deep inside. It touched their memories, burned villages, slaughtered families. That night, when the soldiers slept, the tree reached out. One man woke screaming. He saw shadows moving between the trunks. Faces of those he had killed stared back at him. Another soldier vanished into the woods. His comrades found him hanging from a branch by his own belt, eyes wide in terror. By dawn, half the company was dead. The survivors fled, never speaking of what they saw. The tree was pleased. New Moon, the hungry god. By the 1700s, no one came to the tree willingly, but it did not need them to. Could send dreams now. Whispers carried on the wind. Some nights, a farmer would rise from his bed, eyes glassy, and walk into the forest. By morning, he was found lying lifeless at the tree's roots. Others swore they heard voices in the dark. Bring me your pain. Bring me your sins. The tree was no longer just a witness to death. It was a participant, a god. Waning crescent moon, the end of an era. At the close of the century, a group of villagers gathered with axes and torches. This thing has cursed us long enough, one man growled. We'll burn it to the ground. As they struck its bark, the tree felt their hatred, their fear. It lashed out. Roots burst from the ground, wrapping around legs and pulling men screaming into the soil. Branches whipped like whips, cracking bones and tearing flesh. By morning, the clearing was silent again. Only blood remained, soaking into the roots. The tree's hunger was sated, for now. The blood of the 20th century. The tree slept for years at a time now, but it was never fully silent. Even in stillness, it heard the rumble of distant cannons, smelled the acrid smoke of burning cities carried by the wind. Knew. It always knew when blood was coming. The soldiers come, 1914. The first time they were young men. Soldiers in gray uniforms, boots caked with mud and blood. They stumbled into the clearing at dusk, their faces hollow, their eyes glassy with exhaustion. The tree felt their hearts hammering in their chests, the memories that clung to them like rot. Friends screaming in trenches. Gas-burning lungs. Orders barked by men who never held rifles themselves. They were deserters. This is far enough, one said, collapsing at the roots. No one will find us here. But the tree found them. It reached into their minds like roots through soft soil. One dreamed of home, a farmhouse on a sunny hill, his mother waving from the door. But then the dream soured. The tree twisted it. The hill burned. His mother screamed. Her skin peeled away like bark. The man woke screaming. The others tried to calm him, but then they saw it too. In the tree's trunk. Blinking. Watching. The branches groaned above them. This isn't right, another soldier whispered. This place, it's wrong. By morning, only one remained. He was found hanging from a noose made of vines. His eyes were black pits. His lips were cracked. And when the wind blew, it carried a whisper through the forest. Feed me. Waxing crescent moon, the Black Forest Massacre, 1943. Decades later, the war came again. This time, boots stamped the earth in rigid formation. Helmets gleamed under pale moonlight. A German officer set up camp in the clearing. His men dug shallow trenches near the tree's roots. They laughed, drank, sang songs. But the tree felt their darkness. The officer's pride. The soldier's secret shame over a girl left screaming in an alley. The hunger in all of them to survive, no matter how many others had to die for it. That night, as frost crept across the forest floor, the tree moved. Its roots slithered under tents. Its branches curled inward like claws. The first scream tore through the night when a sentry vanished into the ground. The others awoke to see shadows moving, not men but faces. One soldier fired his rifle into the branches. Something wet splattered his cheek. He wiped it and saw red on his hand. "You shouldn't have come here," a voice hissed from the trunk. By dawn, the camp was silent. Crows circled above. Only scraps of uniforms and twisted rifles remained near the roots. The tree felt full for the first time in decades. Waning crescent moon dreams of blood. By the 1960s, people had forgotten the wars. But the tree had not. It had learned to send dreams now. At night, hikers in the forest felt an unseen pull toward the clearing. Some woke beneath the branches, unable to remember how they arrived. A woman saw her dead father standing beside the trunk, his eyes hollow. He whispered her sins back to her, one by one. A man saw his own corpse tangled in roots, worms crawling from his mouth. Most ran screaming into the dark. Some never ran at all. Candle the Forest is Forbidden, 1997. By the end of the century, the villagers no longer spoke of the tree. They warned their children not to wander too far into the forest. But children are curious. 3 teenagers came one autumn night. They carved their initials into the bark, laughing. The tree felt the knife. It felt the blood when one of them cut his hand. It tasted it, and it whispered to him, "I know what you did." The boy froze. His laughter caught in his throat. The others turned to him, confused. But he was already gone, roots coiling around his ankles, dragging him down into the earth. When his friends ran screaming, the tree sighed through its leaves. "One is enough for now. High voltage, the tree waits. It has many names now. The hanging tree, the whisperwood, the devil's root. But it calls itself nothing. It doesn't need a name. It only waits, because it knows. You will come. You always do. And it will be hungry." Part 4, The Present. The tree had learned patience. It no longer relied on rope and fire to feed. Now it used voices, dreams, memories. It could reach into fragile minds like wind through thin curtains. It didn't matter if people feared it or forgot it. All roads led back to the clearing, and all hearts hid secrets. Candle the Arrival. They came in the spring. 5 of them, young, curious, armed with cameras and flashlights. A project, they called it. A documentary about forgotten folklore. The tree could feel their excitement like static in the air. It felt their fear too, though they tried to bury it under jokes and bravado. "It's just a tree," said Mark, the tall one, laughing as he shoved through undergrowth. But his laughter was hollow. "Feels wrong," whispered Lena. She kept looking over her shoulder. The tree heard them. It heard everything. Their hearts, their sins, their little betrayals. The first night, they set up camp near the roots, built a small fire. The tree waited. When night fell, it sent whispers through the leaves. Faint, almost gentle. "Why are you here? Do you think you're safe?" Lena turned her head sharply. "Did you hear that?" The others laughed. But in their minds, the tree saw flickers of doubt. The games begin. That night, Mark dreamed. He was back in his childhood bedroom. But the walls bled. The air stank of rot. And in the corner, the tree waited. Its bark twisted into a grin. "You let him drown," it whispered. "You watched and did nothing." Mark woke screaming, sweat soaking his clothes. "Bad dream," he muttered. But the tree knew. It was not a dream. One by one. The next day, Lena wandered too close to the roots. She heard her mother's voice calling her name. "Lena, please, help me." Her mother had been dead for 6 years. Roots curled around Lena's ankle. She didn't even scream. The others searched for her for hours, but found only her scarf snagged on a knot of bark. The tree pulsed with satisfaction. 1. The breaking point. By the 3rd night, only 2 remained. The tree was in their minds now, fully, deeply. It showed them visions of fire, hanging bodies. It replayed their darkest secrets like a song on repeat. One of them fell to his knees, sobbing. "What do you want?" "I want you to stay," the tree said softly. "I want you to feed me." The final choice. The last survivor, a girl with bright eyes and trembling hands, ran. Branches clawed at her skin. Roots rose to trip her. But somehow she stumbled out of the clearing and into the open forest. The tree sighed. "Another will come," it murmured. "They always do." And it waited. Always waiting. Part 5, the finale. I have waited. Centuries. Millennia. Through every storm, every bloody dawn, I have waited. The souls I've fed on, they are the marrow in my roots, the sap that courses through my veins. But now, the hunger is greater. Now I am ready for my last offering. The forest grows still as a breath held too long. A family walks beneath my branches, eyes bright with hope, hearts beating with dreams of a new beginning. They do not see me. They do not hear the whispers curling in the shadows. The child is the first to come near. Curious, fearless, a flame flickering against the dark. I show her the memories woven into my bark, the centuries of pain, the echoes of agony. I am not evil. I am the keeper of what you refuse to remember. The last breath, the first scream. The sins you bury deep inside. Do you want me to continue writing the full part 5 here in this chat, or should I prepare the entire section and send it as a file? Also, do you want me to embed suggestions for sound and visuals in the text? Ready to go all in?